Hello, Mustang basketball fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm your host, Kelly Loft, down here at Studio One and Marshall Local Cable Access and online at smsumustangs.com. Thanks for joining us this week. This week we talk Mustang basketball, the games against Northern State and MSU Moorhead, and we'll preview this week's road games versus Minnesota State and Concordia St. Paul. And joining us, as always, is the man of the hour, the head coach, Brad Bigler. The Mustangs coming off a couple of tough home games last Friday and Saturday at the RA facility. The Mustangs lose to Northern State 98-90, and then lose to nationally ranked MSU Moorhead 79-57. And Coach, you knew coming after the Christmas break, talking here on the show and whatnot, that these first 8 games really coming out of the break are going to be very tough. 4 on the road, 4 at home, and against it'll be now about 3 ranked teams as well. And so far a tough start, but you knew we'd have these ups and downs with the team that we have, a young squad, and there's obviously some optimism, but there at times you can see where that youthness comes out.
And I think what you saw this past weekend were 2 teams that are NCAA type teams, and we have that much room to grow, that much more to improve, and that much more work that we have to put in to be at that caliber. It might not always be just pure talent. It's consistency and effort, consistency on execution, and just the ability for certain guys to step up and make plays at the end of the games that just kind of give you those winning plays to win the ball game. Well,
against Northern State on a Friday, the Mustangs allowed 98 points and turned the ball over 15 times. And Coach, that one thing that I thought on Saturday was much improved was the defensive effort. Obviously, Moorhead, a team that averages close to 90 points a game, held to 79. But I'm sure that's one of the things that we're really trying to stress is just limiting those second chance opportunities by teams, but just overall just a better defensive effort.
Well, going into this past weekend, it was time to kind of start implementing more defensive schemes. We showed them some zones with some presses. We had some good things that came out of that. We also had a lot of breakdowns as well. So it has been a process this year. We've really focused on the half court defensively, but as you go down the stretch, you need to have different defenses to just change the pace, to change things up. And last weekend was the first time using those from a bigger perspective, and we just have to get better at them. And now it's a matter of going into this weekend, correcting our mistakes, and just being more consistent at execution.
Yeah, I mentioned against the Dragons on Saturday, the Mustangs held Moorhead to 79 points, but unfortunately on the flip side, lowest scoring output for the Mustangs this season, and uncharacteristically shooting 36%. I mean, we're a team that averages, close to this 50% shooting all season long. So again, as you mentioned, just trying to find that balance now.
And we had some good looks. We had some wide open drive and kick type looks. Unfortunately, guys just missed those shots. And then when you get down big and you're trying to press, and then in the second half, all of a sudden now you're trying to score with shorter in the shot clock, quicker in the shot clock, to try to make up for that. I think sometimes you take some bad shots. Sometimes you have some turnovers, and our execution here down that stretch could have been better. But I'm sure Moorhead had a little bit to do with that too. Defensively, they're not a team that's going to be out and pressuring you, but they're a team that can make plays with the big guy inside who protects the rim very well. They're a very complete team, and obviously one of the teams that are probably competing right now to host a regional NCAA tournament.
Yeah, of course. And in the Mustangs, looking at just some of the numbers, Northern State and Moorhead had pretty sizable leads early in the second half, but your squad didn't go away, Coach. And look at the Northern game. I mean, just a 2-3 possession game there in the last couple of minutes after trailing by almost 20 points. Same with the Moorhead game. Midway point of the second half, we got it down to possibly 8 points, and just a few plays here or there, and that seems really the difference right now. We're just not making some of those plays maybe we did in the first half of the season.
Well, going back to the Northern game, you're right. I mean, we have an opportunity. We miss on 2 occasions. We miss a 3-point shot that really could have made things interesting. And early in the year, we made a lot of those plays, but early in the year, we never put ourselves down by that much, and we're going to have to come back. And when you have to come back, it's a lot of energy. It's a lot. Usually, you're going to need a lot more depth. Guys are going to have to make those plays, and the team that you're going against is also going to have to help you out a little bit. And we got a couple turnovers on the press versus Northern that stole us a couple possessions, but unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize on everything.
Well, against Northern State, the Mustangs had 4 players in double figures, 2 of them in 20 points. Cole Martin, a career-high 26 points, while Joey Bartlett had 24. Against the Dragons on Saturday night, Bartlett with a team-high 18 points and 8 rebounds. And Coach, he averaged 7 rebounds in a couple of games. Bartlett did it, and he really, has been a major factor, obviously offensively all season long, but getting some big rebounds as well. And again, you can just see the maturity of Joey, and along with other players, but becoming really a force on the offensive end of the floor.
Yeah, and Joey, that was challenged, kind of a thrown out challenge to him here a couple weeks ago, and over the last 4 games, I think he's led us in rebounding, and he's becoming a more consistent player, a high level consistent player, and a guy that teams are going to have to find a way to stop, whether that's guard the 3-point a little bit better, or when he posts up, maybe some double teams. But a very well-rounded player. It's a lot of fun watching his progress. He's really improving, and then as well as Mitch Wagg. I think both of those guys are really kind of taking their games to another level right now, and it's nice to see. We're going to have to see more improvement as we finish out the year, but both of them are playing well right now.
Yeah, I was just going to mention Mitch, another solid game. He's just been a steady player all season long. He was back in the starting lineup against the Dragons on Saturday. Kind of talk about your thought process on that. As we've mentioned, look at minutes played. Mitch is 3rd on the team, so really not starting hasn't really affected him that much. It's all about who's playing late. But what were the reasoning? It's all kind of the matchup and those type of things.
Sometimes it's more about, for us, it's about rotations. But on Saturday night, it was really about just providing our energy guy, one of our best leaders, just putting him in the starting lineup. Let's try to get a good start in the game, and that was just the move that we made. It's something that we'll evaluate this week. I don't know if we're going to go with it again, but if we do, they'll be ready to go, and Mitch will handle it great either way.
Well, again, the Mustangs hosting Northern State and MSU Moorhead, and following the weekend, those 2 teams combined now for 35 wins and just 4 losses. So a tough weekend to say the least. So let's take a look at the highlights. The Mustangs taking on the Wolves on Friday night from the RA facility. Again, the Mustangs here in the home whites in this opening half, and the Mustangs here with a big offensive rebound, and there's 2 of Cole Martin's 26 points.
Again, against Northern early on, it's just important to make sure we're getting paint touches. They protect the paint well. They're a great team defensively. And to stay, you're not going to maybe get it on the first drive or the second drive, but you got to stay aggressive and find your teammates like that. MJ finding Cole on a 3 right there. Just keep working at it, and things will open up.
Great job here. Hustle by Cole Martin to get the block. And the Mustangs, this really got the crowd going. Connect the other way. Joey Bartlett in the corner for a 3.
And as you've seen all year long, Cole has that ability to kind of chase down defenders, make plays, and that just shows his athleticism. Here you see Carter Kirk taking his time, using that power and strength. I thought Carter, again, on the offensive end, showed improvement. I think he's starting to slow things down a little bit in the block, and he's making plays, and really proud of his progress as well.
Mitch Wegg with that basket, the assist from Turner Moen, and here's another one for the Mustangs as Joey Bartlett hammers it home with the assist from Moen. Mustangs trail 44-35 at half. In the second half, Nate Hewitt connecting on a 3, his lone bucket of the night. Then we see Cole Martin again here with a nice reverse layup.
And a great pass by Mitch Wegg. We had to change some things up in that second half. It allowed us to get a better rhythm. I thought Mitch and Carter did a great job of making good decisions. Here you see MJ Delmore breaking down the defense, and that's a tough move. Right here you're going to see a steal, Joey anticipating the pass, going over making the play, and that's what you have to do when you're down. You have to try to steal possessions, and we were fortunate to get a few to make it a ball game, but give Northern State credit. They finished out the game with free throws, taking care of the basketball, and then also getting some stops. And that's what you have to do to win ball games like that. That was
Cole Martin's 5th 3-pointer of the night. And we close off the highlight here with a pass from MJ Delmore to Mitch Wegg here in the bottom of your screen. And Mitch goes up and scores 2 of his 15 points. But it was not enough as the Mustangs fall to Northern State 98-90. And again, the Mustangs shoot 51% from the field in the ball game, but Northern State shoots 58%, and they forced the Mustangs into 15 turnovers, and they took those points and scored 20, or took those turnovers and scored 20 points off of the turnovers. So the Mustangs the next night having to take on MSU Moorhead, coach, and there is, look at the record-wise, they're 20-1 following the game. Probably maybe one of the most complete teams in the conference. We've seen Augustana, and Minnesota State's very good as well, and you've seen a lot of teams are in this region so far this year, but the Dragons kind of have it all right now. They can shoot the basketball, and they probably have one of the top 2 or 3 players in the conference in Jordan Reaver, and they showed why.
And Jordan Reaver he's a special player. With the ball in his hands, he demands so much attention. He's a guy that can not only knock down the open three, but what he probably does best is his passing. Mm-hmm. He has the ability to absorb contact, take a double team, hold it, let guys shift, and then find those open shooters or get layups to the big guy inside. And right now, it's kind of hard to say. He wouldn't be mentioned as one of the MVPs of the conference up to this point. We'll see how the season finishes, but definitely they surround him with a lot of talented players too. With your Vaughn, your Lean, those 2 guys can shoot it, and then the big guy inside, he had a pretty nice night against us on Saturday night.
Yes, to say the least. Again, the Mustangs fall 79-57. Let's take a look at those highlights from the RA facility. The Mustangs in the gray uniforms in this opening half, and we see Mitch Wegg again in the starting role. He had 13 points and 5 rebounds, and there's 2 points there off the assist from Joey Bartlett. Continuing on here off the defensive rebound, the Mustangs in transition, and Turner Moen with this hoop.
Good backdoor by Turner, good finish, good find by Cole.
Moen had a couple of baskets. You saw the first one, and then he connects on a 3. First time this season, Turner coming off the bench, and he pops that one, and beautiful look. And then Joey Bartlett follows through, and again, he had 18 points, had 4 more 3-pointers, and here's one of them.
A little bit more patience on this possession, a little bit more screening action. And Joey fades the screen, and Drew finds him for the open 3.
Continuing on in this opening half, Mustangs trailed at halftime 36-27. Nice patented fadeaway jumper from inside 10 feet by Mitch Wegg. And then to start the second half, Mustangs cut right into that lead, get it down to 7 with a basket by Wegg, who's number 5 there right in the block. Kind of the same exact shot. And then Cole Martin, who had 11 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, did not turn the basketball over. He drives here and pull up from 15 feet.
What's nice about having those 3 guys in, I think from the offensive rebound standpoint, we could improve a lot in that area by having those 3 guys on the floor. I think that helps us be a better rebounding team, and hopefully as we go forward, we'll see that where they can make plays on that end.
A couple of last highlights. Joey Bartlett pops the 3. And we'll close up here with a dunk by Bartlett here in the final minutes of this game.
Got a similar play right there, a quick 3 by Joey. And then as we finish out here, Joey gets a steal and goes down and puts one down.
But unfortunately, not enough for the Mustangs as they fall to the Dragons 79-57. That's the only time during the regular season the Mustangs will face MSU Moorhead. The Mustangs did play Northern in a non-conference game in Aberdeen in mid-November. Mustangs lost that one in overtime. So the Mustangs sitting right now at 9-9 overall and 5-7 coach, and still a lot of basketball left to be played. Some big games, obviously, and obviously doesn't get any tougher or easier this weekend, taking on the Minnesota State Mavericks and Concordia St. Paul Golden Bears. And we'll talk about them here shortly. But one thing I wanted to mention, we haven't talked too much about the practice guys or those redshirt players. I just want to give an update to the fans out there. I know people asking, how are they doing, whatnot. But talk about the redshirts that you have going on right now and kind of their potential here in the future, and not just how important, you always trying to touch base, but how important those guys are to getting your guys ready to go, and how important it is for their development into next year.
And that's something we've taken a lot of pride in. Majority of our guys come in redshirt, and when they come here that first year, it's not just a year off. I mean, they're here, they're going to work. And Really blessed to have Trammell and Nick Smith working with those guys. I think they work out almost daily with those guys. And right now, guys like Ryan Bergman, Taylor Schaefer, Josh Wykes, Jake Myers, and Colin, you can just see in practice when you have a chance to lift that hard over the course of a couple months, man, you can really put on some good weight. And all of them have added a lot of strength. Josh and Jake in particular have added about 15 pounds. They all look around. They just look a little bit stronger right now. They're all walking around with that confidence that I've been in the weight room, and it's good to see. But they're also getting it done on the basketball side of things. In practice at times, they are in charge of running the scout team, and at times you'll see Ryan and Taylor take over the practice. Sometimes they'll beat the top team just by the two of them just making plays. And then you'll have Jake coming in for a tip dunk, or Josh with a hard line drive and a finish. And then Colin, obviously, he's probably got the biggest challenge because he's got to deal with Mitch and Carter on a daily basis. But they're doing good. We're happy to have them. We're thankful that they're working hard, and the future's bright with those guys, and as well as the other young guys that are playing right now. So really, right now for this team right now, it's really about just getting back to the routine, believing in what we're doing, coming to work on a daily basis, and all those cliches, finding a way to just get better. But that's the truth. There's a lot of basketball left. Yeah, we're going through a tough stretch right now, but sometimes when you go through tough stretches with young teams, that makes them realize how much harder they have to work, how much more consistent they have to be. And I think we're going through that right now. And I think we do have good leadership. Cole and Travis have been great with their roles this year. Mitch and Joey are a little bit more of the vocal leaders. They're developing on the go. And I'm not really too concerned right now. Yeah, we could have a few more wins, but at the end of the day, we have to find a way to get better and learn from our mistakes.
Well, it starts this weekend. Again, the Mustangs taking on the Mavericks, a nationally ranked team on Friday night. That's an 8 o'clock start in Mankato. And then on Saturday, the Mustangs will play at Concordia St. Paul for a 6 o'clock start. The following weekend, the Mustangs return home. They will take on St. Cloud State and then have a Hawaiian night January 31st against Minnesota Duluth. So a big couple of weekends here for the Mustangs, and we'll do it all again next week as we talk about the game versus Minnesota State and Concordia. Hopefully we'll be talking about a couple of wins. So for the head coach, Brad Bigler, thanks for stopping in, and a special thanks to you for watching this week's episode of Mustang Basketball with Brad Bigler. I'm Kelly Loft, and until next time, go Mustangs.